I've just noticed, like, whenever I've started talking to you today too, is you're super decisive.
To be decisive comes with confidence. I had come from a family where I worked most of my life. I was always supported in what I was working, right? So when I was a young kid, started off cleaning farrowing houses for the neighbor. Moved on to milking cows every morning before school, every night after school. From there, I went into working at a precast company, forklift to a crane. All those experiences build into your confidence. I think that your confidence and having positive experience and people backing your decisions makes you more and more decisive. If your parents always told you made the wrong decision, how decisive can you be?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Frank Podcast. Today's episode, we have home builder, custom home builder, owner of the Heims Custom Home, Damian Heim. Today's episode of 41, and then thank you guys for coming. And then I can't wait to get to know a lot about Damian. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So Damian, we know each other for 6-7 years, something like that.
It's at least 6.
So at least 6 years. Those people who doesn't know about you, like we're making your website, but so what would you say your bio on your website, like who you are and what you have done, and then kind of introduce yourself to the listeners?
Cool. So I'm a United States Marine. I've been building custom homes and home building 21 years, I believe. I built somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 2,000 homes, something like that.
2,000 homes.
Yeah.
And then how did you get into building homes?
So when I got out of the Marine Corps and I moved here to Oklahoma, I had a job like everybody else, and it wasn't what I liked. And
what did you have?
So I was a plant manager for a subsidiary company of Unit Parts.
Oh, got you.
And, so a buddy of mine went into construction with working for somebody else, and they did insurance work. And there was an insurance adjuster, and he sometimes would just throw us a bone and let us do some of the small jobs that Jason's boss didn't want to do. And one day that guy, he called me and he said, "Hey man, what'd you make last year?" And I said, "Well, that's kind of personal." And he goes, "Well, I want to offer you a job and I don't want to insult you."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, aren't you an insurance guy?" He goes, "Well, not no more. Now I'm only doing the home building." And he'd built maybe 3 or 4 houses that I hadn't touched. And so we agreed to a number, and I went to work for him. And when we started, I think we could do 6 or 8 houses, something like that at a time. And in 2014, when I left to start my own thing, we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 280 houses on the ground under construction.
So how did you learn how to build the homes?
The hard way. Trial and error, screw things up, just like everybody else. But, that gentleman was Homes by Tabor. It was Tabor LeBlanc. And he said something that was probably the number one thing I passed along to new superintendents. If it looks wrong, it probably is wrong. Pretty simple, but it works. And 99% of the time, as a superintendent, especially a young one, you're not the smartest guy on the job. That trade partner knows way more than you do. And if you just ask them when they say, "Hey, you can't do it like this," well, how would you do it?
Right.
They're going to give you their idea. And guess what? If it's their idea, they've already bought into it.
Nice.
If it gets to the same result as what you want,
yeah,
let them do it their way.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's hard to do that though, whenever you're starting, because you wanted to show off, everything, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I've done this kind of same thing, and I start building websites and stuff. I told every single thing, so I want this, and they just didn't look right, And then I'm like, well, you kind of did it wrong. Right? And then and then you kind of start noticing okay, you just let them do whatever they think, kind of, and then fix it later.
Yep.
Is that kind of how you do it, or
much?
Yeah.
Everybody's got to learn, and not everybody learns the same way.
Yeah.
So, but I think that more things are caught than taught.
Yeah.
So, if you're around somebody doing things the right way all the time, pretty soon you start finding yourself doing things the right way all the time.
Yeah.
Where, if you're around guys that are screwing up, Pretty soon you're screwing up.
Yeah.
Most people are a product of the 5 people they hang out with.
Yeah, for sure. 5 people average, right?
Yep.
What does custom home builder do? Like, so the custom home builder is like a people who built the home, or like people design the home, or does that make sense?
Both. So generally speaking, if you wanted a custom home, depending on budget and size and different constraints, you'd come to me and we'd sit down and get a list of your ideas. And then maybe go through some pictures of other homes that you've seen or layouts that you've seen that you like, and go through your likes and dislikes, right? And then we will take all those ideas and put them on paper and create a floor plan. Once we have a floor plan that works and the flow works the way you want it and all that, then we start creating all the rest of the plan. The elevation. Well, what styles do you like? Do you like farmhouse? Do you like modern? Do you like contemporary? Do you like Victorian? Do you like Georgian? What do you like, right? So we get that style attached to that floor plan.
Yeah.
And then, how do you like your roof? Do you like super steep? Do you like low? We get all that figured out, and then we get the plans the way that you want them. And then we start talking about all the interior features, everything that you want inside your home.
Right.
And we get all that figured out, and we come to a number, and then we sit down and we go through the numbers and decide what things are staying and what things are not staying to keep you within the budget that you want to be within.
Then you build it.
And then we build it.
So like I was at the Wheeler Park yesterday, and I know the guy who owns new restaurant, like a Japanese, like a fine restaurant. And then he finally broke the ground. He started building like metal, the walls or whatever, right? Like lots, like before they put the walls in and all that kind of stuff. And then he's like showing me the floor plan. He's a design and all that kind of stuff, right? But like, what is like, so he was like, man, if I make decision like wrong now, 4 months later, he's like fucked. And then like he's like, he needs to make decision. And every time he makes a decision, it affects everything or whatever, right? So like, is that a certain point of your like career, like you got used to making those kind of decisions, or like you still struggle with like, okay, like do you get to like those like a butterfly feelings of like, oh, I have to make this decision?
I don't get the butterflies anymore.
Yeah.
With custom homes, the owner or buyer, they're going to be involved in all those decisions.
Right.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, if it's a true custom home, it's their decision, not mine.
Got you.
My job to tell them, yes, it'll work, or no, it won't work, and then be able to explain why it won't work if we can't do it that way.
Yeah.
Or to let them know that, that decision needed to be made a month ago.
Yeah.
At this point, it's going to cost you X number of dollars to go backwards and re-implement that.
Got you.
With speculative homes, where we build a house and speculate that we're going to sell it, then on those, I'm making all those decisions. And the good thing about a speculative home is if you make a minor mistake, but it looks like it was supposed to be that way when you're done, was it really a mistake? Especially if it improved the end product, right? But with a custom home, that's not really my decision to make. Even if I think it's going to improve the end product, I'm just there to provide the input.
Right.
And then it's, the customer's the one who gets to have the final say.
So I work in the creative field, and you consider yourself working in the creative field?
Yes, but not in the same aspect that yours is.
Okay, but like, so because you're building customers' ideal home, right? They have a picture in their head and they want you to make that things, right? And then something customers say, hey, I wanted this modern, beautiful, contemporary home or whatever. But that's customer's mind and then your mind sometimes different, right?
Yep.
Would you say all the time?
No. In fact, before I came here, I just left a design meeting on a custom home.
So how do you like close that gap of like a miscommunication about their vision versus your vision combined?
So before we ever start,
yeah,
we have design meetings, and we have a interior designer that helps to make sure that we're getting what the customer wants. And we have vision boards for each room of the house. And we put on there the types of materials, soft touch, carpet, wood, colors, paints, stains, wood types, light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, countertops, whatever it is for that room, they all go on there so we can kind of see what everything's going to look like together in that room. And that's where a good designer actually comes in and helps out drastically. So,
what differentiates with the good designer and bad designer?
A good designer is going to know trends.
Yeah.
They're going to know how to read a customer as far as, what their likes and dislikes are based off of the conversations that they had before we ever started building their design.
Yeah. And then I remember I will never forget you told me about the story of a customer's complaints, because the reason I was asking is kind of we have kind of a client that we built the design and then we mock it up the website and then we show it to them. And they're like, well, this is not what we wanted. This is exactly what we showed them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then they were yelling at my employees and all that kind of stuff. So I get phone calls and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, well, this is how you have to do it. And then you told me about the story of a customer calling you, yelling, but you're like, hey, calm down.
Yep. So I've been in both shoes where there's a customer yelling at an employee or a customer yelling at me because there was a miscommunication or a mistake made or whatever.
Yeah.
Number one, mistakes can be fixed.
Yeah.
But number two, I handle them all the same way, and it's real simple. We're either going to talk like adults or we're not going to talk. And you can call me when you've calmed down. Really, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Coming from a Marine Corps background, I like to argue just as much as anybody else who likes to argue, but it's not productive.
Yeah.
So it's if you had a child, right? You got a small child and they're crying. Does that improve the situation? No.
Yeah.
So what do you tell them to do? Go calm down, collect yourself, come back to me when you can talk to me.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. So literally customer calls, come down, you hang up.
No, we don't necessarily hang up, but we forewarn them. Now, if it continues, I would. Yeah. And I have.
Yeah.
Told people, hey, we're done talking until you can talk like an adult. Yeah. Click.
That's awesome. And then I think I've done if I remember that story for a long time. And then whenever that happened to me multiple times, probably a couple of times in my career. And then I did hang up and it did help me. And then they kind of respect me,
Yeah, you've more than likely you've earned their respect. At first, you're just gonna piss them off.
Yeah,
you've earned their respect, but also it gives you the chance to calm down yourself because everybody gets excited when they get yelled at.
Yeah,
it gives you a chance to collect your thoughts.
Yeah,
and then when you guys have a conversation, you can then work toward getting a yes. That's what you're ultimately trying to do, right? So they say, oh, there's something wrong with the product or there's something not the way I want it.
Yeah.
And you're saying, no, I've given you exactly what you asked for. And now you have the opportunity to go, okay, so you wanted a blue room with black floors and, I don't know, purple cabinets, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And you go back and you just start giving facts. You don't argue with them. Yeah, there must be something wrong here. Right. Let's go through it.
Yeah.
Okay, you wanted this floor, right? Yes, I wanted that floor. Okay, and you wanted the cabinets like this, right? Yes, I wanted the cabinets like this. And you wanted this, yes. Okay, well, in order to achieve that, we have to do these things in this order, and they have to be installed this way. Agreed? Yes. Okay, so we don't really have a problem.
Yeah.
We just didn't communicate.
Yeah.
So, which is what most of the time it is.
Yeah, for sure. I had that incident this morning too, I was talking to a client, say, she wanted to have website development to be done fast, efficient way. So I was like, okay, we get the meeting set up and all that kind of stuff. So I bring a project manager, website developer, I have a graphic designer and myself. And then she's took me aside and after the meeting say, hey, I thought we are going to do it very efficiently. why do we have so many people involved? That it's going to take more time. I'm like, well, the project manager will be organizing all the project, and the website developer needs to understand everything, and then he can ask for the graphic designer, and then I'm just overseeing. I'm not charging my time anyways, so you don't have to worry about it. And then so everything in place has a reason, and it will be more efficient with more people involved, rather than if you had just a web developer. He doesn't take notes. He's going to ask you a question again, and then he's going to miss out, and he can't design stuff. So like, it's going to take more time, and you're not going to get that stuff. So overall, I'm using these 3 people to get stuff done faster than you expected. So I think we have no problem. She's like, well, thank you for explaining to me. So I think that's like you're saying, like just one communication, right?
Yeah, it's funny you said fast. I know an older gentleman that he always says, fast, cheap, or good. Pick 2.
Pick two. Yeah.
Pick 2, because you can't have all 3.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I would say, yeah, we're not cheap, but but I think that I learned that stuff on the hard way of like, you been doing this job for so long, and you assume other people know stuff, right? So that you have to kind of break it down, say, hey, this is a step. So then customer can understand and all that kind of stuff. And I have to remind myself of building a website or building design or anything like that, making video, it just takes time,
Right. Everything takes time. And the other thing is, most of the time when you build somebody a home or you build somebody a website, they've never done it before.
Yeah.
So they don't, although you're saying, hey, this takes this much time. Yeah. They're like, well, why is nobody here today? There's nobody scheduled for today. Yeah. The other guy got done early.
Right.
And there's nobody on the schedule for today, or we have inspections, or we're waiting on concrete to finish curing, or we got to stress cables, or we got to do, but we know all that. So to us, it's just like, yeah, nobody's there today. It's not a big deal. And to them, it's like, well, you're not going as fast as you can. No, I am. I don't understand the full process. Yeah. So, and that's where a good salesperson comes in too. Somebody that helps you with your sales. Yeah. Because like, I have a young lady that helps me with sales, and she's awesome. And she put together this graphic that just kind of gives a flow chart, right? Of this is what you can expect. And she's got, 15, 20 things on there, just little stopping points.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to see nothing right now because we're waiting on the banks to get the loans together and close on the loan, and then we can start. Or you're not going to see nothing this week because it's all inspections. So we're just waiting on city people to come out, and they come when they come, and we don't really get a say. It's our job to schedule them, but we don't want to schedule them before we're done because they might show up early.
Huh.
So we got to wait till we're done, and then we'll schedule the city inspectors to come out, right? And if there's something found, which is great, if we're going to find something, I want to find it now, right, before we close everything up. But then it takes even longer because now we got to schedule somebody to come out, make a repair or a fix or an adjustment. So, time, people grasp it, but don't understand how long your job takes.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to ask you that inspection, right? Mm-hmm. Is there like tip to get the inspection done faster, or like it's just like out of your control? Like you've been doing this for long time.
Some areas have no governing municipalities, right? Like no building inspectors.
Yeah.
Like Logan County, for example, there's no building inspections in Logan County. My inspections happen real quick there because I hire a third party state licensed building inspector. I happen to hire the guy that used to be the chief building inspector for Edmond. Mm-hmm. And so because I'm paying him directly, I get a different response than my tax dollars paying a city inspector directly, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a trade partner relationship where sometimes with city municipalities, it's supposed to be a trade partner relationships, but sometimes it's not. Like, for example, in Edmond, I have the majority of the inspectors. They know me. They got my cell phone number. They can shoot me a text. I can text them if I need something. And generally speaking, we got a really good relationship, quick response.
Got you.
Go to Oklahoma City and Norman, I don't have that. But that's not to say that other builders don't. I don't build as often down there as I do in Edmond, and I know most of the Edmond inspectors.
Got you.
So
like, is county by county you can hire people, not be able to hire people?
A while back, there was something put out about hiring a third-party inspection company where you could pay for it yourself as a builder. I never really followed suit with that because I always thought that the liability had to be pretty high.
Yeah.
Say you're building $1 million house and that inspector missed something and you hire a third-party inspector. Well, his insurance coverage goes to here, right? But say the city did the inspection on it, right? City's liability insurance is way up here.
Yeah.
If they miss something, right? Gotcha. And then I have liability in it too because I missed it as well.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. I mean, I was just curious because like whenever I built my old office, inspection took like years,
Really?
Yeah. Like it's like years of like it took like not years, like 8 months maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're waiting. And then like the guy who's building a restaurant down the Willow Park or whatever, he's waiting on the inspection, So like I was like, inspection takes a long time. I'm like,
so depending on the number of inspectors that the municipality has and the number of permits that those inspectors have to inspect, right? So generally speaking, Edmond's usually 48 hours. I don't think I've had any, generally, like, my superintendents have always called the inspections, but the last couple that I called were the next day. So it's, Oklahoma City, though, some of them run a ways out. And some of the trade inspections, right? Like as a builder, your plumbing, electric, heat, and air, those are licensed people and they have their own inspections, right? So some of the trade inspections do get to where they run a ways out. Some of that's staffing and some of it's just number of projects that municipality has going on.
Got you. That makes sense. Yeah, I just always wonder or like they just construction was delay or whatever.
Yeah, but you're referring to commercial construction.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long those inspections take, but residential, I think the longest I've ever waited on an inspection was a week.
So like you picked a residential and then like what was like when did you realize like you went to a Marine Corps and then you were doing something else, then you start building homes, and then when did you decide that I'm gonna do this rest of my life kind of deal? Well, I don't know if you're going to do the rest of your life.
I don't know if I'm going to do it the rest of my life yet.
Yeah.
And I'm getting old. So I don't know. I just enjoy it. Yeah. And I do a lot of things that I enjoy, and I try not to do the things that I don't enjoy.
Right. So, what do you enjoy the most in the building home?
In building?
Yeah.
I probably enjoy the most the customer interaction. The start of the project is probably the most fun part. Everybody's excited, right? By the time you get to the end, everybody's excited, but they're tired. They want in their house, right?
Right.
I'm no different when I build my wife and mine's house. It's same thing. Right. By the time we get to the end, we're like, are we done? Okay, move in. But that's probably the most enjoyable part. Putting together the design and being able to put together a budget that works and implements all the things that someone wants.
That's awesome. What's your favorite house you ever built?
I built a replica of the Castle House in Stillwater, Minnesota that was built in 1872. That house is in Timberland Creek, and it's about 4,000 square feet, and the exterior of the home looks very, very close to the original. Now we added a garage and, bathrooms and all sorts of stuff to the house. And the interior walls, none of them are where they were in the original home. I've never seen the inside of the original home, but that's probably the favorite house I've ever built.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I would love to see that photos, and maybe we put it up here.
Yeah.
I mean, like, honestly, like I being always had a respect for you that you are like you say what you say you're gonna do, and you always done it. But also, I've just noticed, like whenever I've started talking to you today too, is you're super decisive, right?
Most things.
That's like a perfect thing, the trait to have as a home builder, right? Because you have to make a decision.
Yeah, until you ask me to buy a car or a truck, then I'm like, I don't know which one.
But like, I don't know if you like go to the restaurant, you pick just the first one. But anyways, what's like tips to give people to be decisive?
To be decisive?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a tip, but comes with confidence, right? If you're confident in your abilities and you're confident in yourself and ultimately confident in the decisions that you've made, you're going to be more decisive. If you grew up like I grew up, and I had come from a family where I worked most of my life, and I was always supported in what I was working, right? So when I was a young kid, I started off cleaning farrowing houses for the neighbor. And then I moved on to milking cows every morning before school, every night after school. And then from there, I went into working at a precast company, for, 3 or 4 years. I worked there during high school, do everything from run a forklift to a crane to a welder, semi, whatever, right? Yeah. Whatever the job was, it was needed to be done. And so all those experiences build into your confidence. And I think that your confidence and having positive experience and people backing your decisions makes you more and more decisive. If your parents always told you made the wrong decision, how decisive can you be?
Yeah, that's true. Didn't think of that. I heard like when you go to military, whenever you do a boot camp or whatever, like they will like destroy your confidence first.
They try to.
And then they will rebuild you up or something like that. Is
yep.
That
so they'll break you down.
Right.
Make you wonder, what the hell did I sign up for?
Yeah.
And then they build you back up.
Yeah.
So, and you don't even realize that's what's happening. So you embrace the suck, right? You go through all the crappy stuff and you're like, what the hell am I doing? And then all of a sudden one day it just starts to flow and everything's happening the way it's supposed to happen. A lot less mistakes being made. Nobody's screaming at you or, when they are, it's just for their benefit.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay.
Right.
You done yet? So, but yeah, they start off breaking you down and then build you back up, build your confidence level back up.
Do you think that's like a good way to train employees too?
Not everybody responds well to it.
What's your method of training employees?
It varies. If I had all the time in the world and finances to do so, I think the best way to train a home building superintendent is make them go work with every single trade. Go learn their job. But
that's probably impossible, right?
No, it's not impossible. Really? It's just time consuming.
How long did it take?
To just get a general idea, a week with every trade. Oh, you'd have a general idea of how their job is done. Gotcha. Because nobody wants to be supervised or bossed around by someone, right? That
they don't know
stuff. Even understand how to do what they're asking you to do, and you're like, okay, I can modify this roof, and it's going to take me a week. And young superintendent goes, well, it don't seem that hard. Just get it done. I need it done a day. Well, it's a little harder than that. I got to do X, Y, Z. Well, I don't understand why you get to do that. Just fix it.
Makes sense.
Right? Yeah. But if you've actually been there, put a roof on a house.
Right.
Ran the rafters. You got a general idea of what it takes to do that.
Yeah. So like, how can you become the person who's like going to trade school or whatever, or like a high school student want to have your job? What's the path? Like, what do you recommend them to do?
So I did it the hard way. I trial and error and making mistakes. There are school programs that are there's a construction management degree program from Oklahoma State. It's good. I've got friends that have done that route. I didn't do that route. I went from just, okay, so how do we do this? Mm-hmm. And jump in, get your hands dirty, and learn how to do it. I think that school atmosphere is great at theory.
Yeah.
Practical application, on the job training, far better than any school application.
So the people doesn't really need to go to college.
You don't need a 4-year degree to be a home builder, no.
Yeah. Then what do you think about, because I've been asked from a lot of trade, like a kind of like a corporation, mm-hmm. that they have like a labor shortage, right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel that labor shortage while you're doing your job?
Yes. You can tell that there's a shortage of people. Just look at the age group of the people in the trades.
Yeah. Do you think it's
getting older?
Do you think it's going to be, what do you think needs to be happen? Or like, yeah.
When I was growing up, everybody pushed college, right? And I imagine that's still the same way today. Push kids, go to college.
Yeah.
But do you need to go to college and rack up $100,000 worth of debt? When you come out of college, you got $100,000 in debt and you get a job that pays $30,000 a year.
Right.
Or you can go down to a trade school for maybe $2,500, $5,000, come out of that with $5,000 debt and go to work. And within 5 years, you got a job that's paying you $70,000, $80,000.
Right.
I don't know. I think that right now, I think that the trade schools would be an amazing route for a young person to go, especially if they have any want or desire to become an entrepreneur and own their own company. I've got friends that went to college route, make decent money, and I've got friends that I don't know how they passed high school, but they own their own company and they are worth a boatload of money.
Yeah. Why do you think the shortage of going to trade school and then doing like trade labor is shorter, have like a less people want it to be?
So how do you glamorize sticking your hand in a pipe full of shit?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's no glamour to it.
Yeah.
Or crawling through an attic that's 150 degrees to fix somebody's furnace.
Right. Yeah.
Air conditioning. Yeah. So it's not a glamorous job.
Yeah.
But it's a job that is always going to be needed.
Yeah.
There's always going to, as long as we have equipment, mm-hmm. there's going to be equipment failures and people needed to fix that equipment.
Right.
Forever. Yeah. So, but, if you're going to school for, I don't know what a common degree is today.
English.
Okay. History.
Yeah.
Let's take history.
Yeah.
What jobs can you get after college with a history degree? You can work at a museum.
Yeah.
You can be a professor.
Yeah.
Which I have my own thoughts on being professors. I think that professors should go out in the real world and do a real job.
Yeah.
And then go be a professor that teaches that real job.
Yeah. I agree.
School, never have done anything, never accomplish anything, and teach somebody how to do something based on a theory that you know nothing about.
Yeah. I totally agree.
So.
Yeah.
But
I mean, honestly, whenever I decided to go to the United States, I remember whenever I was in high school, and then I decided that day, I literally walked up to the stairs. I took the flyer, say, go to United States. So I took that, and then I went to my English teacher's lounge, said, hey, can I go here and help me out to go here? And then he said, no, you can't. And then because I was a baseball player, I didn't study and all that kind of stuff. He knew that. So he's like, well, you won't pass the test. You can't go there, all that stuff. But also, he's an English teacher, doesn't really speak English. Right? Because because whatever he was trying to say, hindsight is 2020, but he was saying everything, most of things wrong, So I was like, it just makes me it makes me realize like, some people just say no, and then like be a teacher. And then like, I guess I can't be disrespectful to teachers, but like, it just kind of like,
they have a tough job.
Yeah.
But not everybody that is a teacher should have been a teacher.
Yeah.
They don't have the real life, real world experience to be the teacher in the field or professor, more so in the field that they're trying to teach in. Yeah. Grade school is one thing, college level is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like how many people get taken advantage by the get rich quick schemes where somebody sells you a course on how to become a millionaire.
Yeah.
Right? I got this course on how to become a millionaire.
Yeah.
And they've never built a business.
Yeah.
They've never owned a business. All they know is the theory of how to do it.
Yeah.
Would you rather be taught by that guy?
Yeah.
Or a guy who actually built a few things?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the guy who built a few things.
Yeah.
You're welcome to work on theory. I'll work on reality.
Yeah, for sure. Like a movie teacher, work on the theory rather than like making movies.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy how that stuff, but I think that like, like how to build the business, right? Like you had a trade and then like what point of your life you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to start my own.
So about 10 years ago, I decided to start on my own. One of the deciding factors was, and this is the biggest deciding factor, my wife and I were in a grocery store one day, and a young couple come up to me and they thanked me for their house. And I did not introduce her to them. And they walked away and she goes, why did you not introduce me to them? I said, I meet over 200 people a year for their house. I have no idea who they are, what their name is, or where they live. And if I did, it was because we screwed something up and I had to get involved. I said, so those that I know their name is a bad thing. Those that I don't know their name typically have had a relatively good experience.
Yeah.
So that's, there's no way for me to introduce you. I don't know their name. I don't want to be rude to them. I don't want them to think that, oh, I spent a couple $100,000 with that company and that guy doesn't even know my name.
Right.
So she made the comment, something along the lines of, that's crappy because that's most people's largest expense that they ever spend.
Right.
Biggest purchase ever.
Yeah.
And you can't even remember their names.
Right.
I said, well, maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe it's time to slow down, do my own thing, do more customized, fewer homes where I get a chance to actually know everybody.
That is awesome. But I bet that people you didn't know the name had a good house too then.
Yeah, I think so. I would think so.
Yeah. So like, like you learned those kind of stuff to build the house, build the business. Building a business is totally different beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you learn to build the business? Like, was that like, do you?
Same way I learned everything else. Screw it up.
Yeah. Do you
Why not do that again?
Do you do research or do you like call people? Do you like go to YouTube? Like, what do you do to learn?
So I'm one of the founding members of an organization called Arte Syndicate. Mm-hmm. And it's a business development group with business owners and entrepreneurs and even entrepreneurs from all over the world. Mm-hmm. It was founded by two gentlemen, Edmond and Andy Frisella. Mm. Okay, and Arte, what that stands for in Greek is excellence. And they teach practical business skills.
Nice.
And as long as you implement them, I don't really see how you can't understand how to build and move forward. The harder part is implementing the skills, right? If I'm teaching you how to, put together this microphone, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't understand how a electric screwdriver works, so you just don't want to use it. Well, until you start using it, you're going to be slower than me because an electric screwdriver is faster than a hand screwdriver, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Same type of thing. If you're not implementing skills that are taught to people that are, Ed Milet's worth $800 million. So guy knows a thing or two about building a business, right?
Right.
And if he's telling me, hey, man, you should be looking at doing these type of things or this type of culture, and I go, yeah, I know better than you.
Yeah.
Then I'm wrong. First off, I'm way off. But if I'm not implementing them, I have nobody to blame but me.
Yeah. Can you give me an example?
Of what?
Like whatever.
Culture?
Yeah, you learn from.
Well, culture is a big thing, right? So there's, as you have employees, right? Nobody wants to hire a yes man. That, somebody that just you're the boss, so everything you say is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do it. I don't want that, right? I want to have a business culture where even the lowest guy on the totem pole, his thoughts or her thoughts are just as important as mine. Like earlier, I said, if somebody comes to you and they have an idea of how to do something and it gets the same result, but it's not my idea, I'm going to go with their idea, especially if they're the one implementing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's going to help produce a better business culture within my company because people are appreciated, right? People will do a lot of things for money, but they'll do so much more for recognition and appreciation.
Well said.
Yeah.
What do you think about this culture of like a society right now is like, hey, own your own business, quick scheme, right? Like $1 million get scheme, but also like, hey, you can have your own business, you can have that stuff. But from business owner perspective or corporation perspective, people still say, go to college, do this, and working man, right? Like there's like, I sometimes think that, I want to inspire people to have their own stuff, but also like, I still want to have my employees to work for me, right? Mm-hmm. So like, what's your thoughts on like telling people or like people telling to like own business or like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So first off, not everybody is cut out to be a business owner, right? Yes. Some people, and it's not to be downplayed, but some people are a better cog than they are an engine. Right? So the engine turns the cog, the engine's the entrepreneur, the cog is the employee that keeps the next line moving, right? So some people are better to be a cog than an engine. Okay? And some people make way better entrepreneurs and they can run your business or my business better than I can and make us way more profitable than you or I could, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't want the financial risk, or they don't want the liability of being the owner. There's nothing wrong with that. So as far as the big push to tell everybody, oh, you should start your own business, that's not for everybody. But what you should do, in my opinion, if you work for someone, you should treat it the way you would if it was your business.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but every time I've worked for somebody, I am way more conservative with their money than I've been with my own when it's my business, right? Because that's not mine. It's got to be protected, right? Because if you're not protecting them and their interest and their money, well, how long are you going to stick around? How long before they tell you get lost, right? And that's not the goal, right? When you're an employee, your goal is to work your way up the ladder or work to the position that you aspire to be at. Some people don't aspire to be say a plant manager, right? But a line manager that's just got 2 or 3 people on their team, maybe that's all the further they aspire to. Nothing wrong with that. Be the best line manager, right? Or maybe your aspirations are to work at McDonald's.
Right.
And to maybe one day manage one.
Right.
Well, you got to start somewhere. And maybe you start on French fries. Make the best damn French fries that are out there. Make sure they all fit in the little cardboard cups properly.
Right.
Make sure when you give them, they're full. They're not half full. They're full.
Yeah.
Just do the best you can do at the level that you're at. It'll be recognized and you'll move up.
I think that's like a totally, I agree, but I kind of agree to disagree that theory, Because like, honestly, so I think so my, like, for example, movie career, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a cameraman, if you want to be a director of photography, that's like a highest level in the movie, the camera department.
Okay.
Photography. And then next line is the first AC, who is like a pull focus.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the camera operator and the first AC. And the second AC is a dude like, hey, action, and then clip that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a production assistant. They like takes like go get coffee or do whatever. So whenever I was filming feature film in Dallas, and then I was director of photography, that was like almost 7 years ago, something like that. And then my first AC asked me, said, hey, congratulations getting this job and all that kind of stuff. And then how long you been doing like second AC, first AC? I told him I'd never done it.
Mm-hmm.
I just like watched it, and then I just told myself that I'm the director of photography. I applied for this job and I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, it's just like for my disagreement, not disagreement, but what you say is right. But I think if I tried to be best production assistant first to go get coffee and all that kind of stuff.
But that wasn't your aspiration.
Yeah.
Your aspiration was to start here.
Right.
Not everybody's going to aspire to start halfway up the ladder.
Gotcha.
And in some businesses, you wouldn't be allowed to start halfway up the ladder. Like there are some companies where everybody works the warehouse, right?
Right.
No, that's not the job you were hired for. But you have to work the warehouse, and then you have to work the shipping, and then you have to work the other thing. And you might be there a year before you actually get to your job you were hired for,
right,
just so you have a general idea of how the company runs, right? So that's all I'm saying is there's a starting point for everybody. Not everybody's starting point is the same, right?
Yeah.
So if I came from, let's say I come from a poor family without any business connections, right? Mm-hmm. And you come from a wealthy family and everybody you know has a business connection. Mm. Okay?
Yeah.
We can both get to the same endpoint.
Yeah.
My journey is going to be a little longer than yours.
Exactly.
Because I don't have that head start.
Yeah.
Right? So basically when that young man or woman came up to you and said, well, how long did you do these? And you said, I didn't. I applied for this and I was able to get it. Well, you had a head start. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's not that you did something wrong or that they did something wrong. Everybody's journey starts at a different point.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think I always like tell people is like it's better to act as if something else, mm-hmm, and then try and error and figure it out, you know, rather than like, hey, I know 100% this skill, then move up, and then you probably never move up, you know, because you're never gonna be 100%, you know what I mean?
Yep. Well, and some people are built that way, right? They have to be 100% at one thing before they'll even consider themselves good enough to move to the next spot.
Yeah.
Just 90% of the time, that's not even the case. Yeah. 90% of the time, if you can get to, 60% efficient at this level, you're probably in the top 10% at that level. Yeah. Then move to the next spot and start building up. Mm. So, I don't know. It's just, I think that everybody, backgrounds come into play. Mm-hmm. Family connections, who you know. Everybody says, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
If you know the right people, you can do the same thing that I can do, not knowing the right people, just easier.
Yeah.
Because I have to go find the right people.
Yeah.
And then they don't know me. So there's no automatic trust there. Where they know you, there's an automatic relationship and trust there. And they're going to help you most of the time before they would help me.
So you was talking about that meeting people, right? Like, I think it's interesting. Like, you have when you shake people's hand, mm-hmm, you do this, right? Mm-hmm. And like you look at people's eyes, right? And
yep.
Like
handshake, look them in the eye.
Yeah, is that like a kind of like a you're like I was taught,
probably caught, not taught. Oh, okay. My dad comes from a large family. So my dad has 7 brothers. I don't know any of them that don't have a firm handshake, and I don't know any of them that don't look you in the face when they shake your hand.
Right.
Okay. In the Marine Corps, you're taught to look people in the face when you're talking to them.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, I have trade partners that nobody ever taught them, young men that work with me, that nobody ever taught them that a young man's supposed to have a firm handshake, not some limp, soft.
Yeah.
You're supposed to grip somebody's hand. Yeah. You're not crushing it, putting them on their knees, but let them know you got a hold of their hand.
Right.
And you look them in the eye.
Yeah.
And there's one young man that works with me that a long time ago, I told him that, and he started doing it. And one day he was on the job and I was busy, and I walked by and he sticks his hand out. I shake his hand. I don't look at him. I keep going. And he immediately, hey, you did that wrong. Fair enough. You called me on my shit.
Yeah.
I told you. Yeah. And don't like a limp handshake that's like not firm.
Yeah.
It's like, what's wrong? Or if you miss, like if I miss a handshake, we go shake hands and I miss, I'm going to like grab again.
Would you re-grip it?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah. If it misses and I just get like your fingers.
Yeah.
No way. You gotta get it in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like sometimes it's just like, oh, two. Yeah. It's just like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
This handshake is important. But, yeah, I do ask every guest this question. So this is like my podcast team is like making a YouTube video, and everything is like I'm making advice for 5 years ago myself.
Mm-hmm.
So 2018, what were you doing?
2018, I was stressing. I had 2 homes in Yukon that I couldn't sell. I don't know why they wouldn't sell. They just did not sell. And they had a couple of birthdays, and I was getting really nervous. And then all of a sudden one day, they both sold. So, but that was my stress. I was also building my personal house. So I built my house in 2018. We moved in the fall of 2018. So the end of 2017, maybe the beginning of 18, we bought 20 acres of land and built our house on it. Started building our own house on it. Out in the middle of nowhere, where at night you can see the stars from the front porch or the back porch. You get to see all the deer right up in the front yard. Privacy, nobody on top of you. Long driveway, sitting on the bottom of a hill. So, yeah.
Then, so that 2018 Damian, what advice would you give to yourself?
Knowing what I know today?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have quadrupled down knowing what I know today because of the volume of home sales throughout COVID. If you had the inventory, it was sold. A lot of companies made a lot of money during COVID. A lot of companies lost a lot of money during COVID. We had some projects that we lost money on, some that we made money on. But if you could build it fast enough, you could sell it. And most things were sold before they were ever finished. Yeah. And it's very seldom that we have a home building market where you can consistently sell before you complete. So
your advice would be build faster or build
more? Build more. Put a bigger team together. Build more.
Yeah. What is, how do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I figure in 5 years, I will probably be building more percentage-wise custom homes than speculative homes, and probably be somewhere around 30 homes a year. Small team, maybe 2 to 3 people, and content with that. Travel a little bit more. My wife would like to travel way more than what we do, and vacation more than what we do, because vacations are non-existent if they're not revolving around work.
Yeah.
So
where would you maybe not touch the mic too much, but where would you want to go for the vacation?
Oh, she would love to go to like Scotland, England, Ireland, Rome, anywhere Europe type area. So her and I have been together. We've been to Iwakuni, Japan, Okinawa, Japan, Osan, Korea, all over the United States, Hawaii a couple times. So
that's cool.
Yeah. I got a picture somewhere before we got married of her riding an elephant down Main Street in Korat, Thailand.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, and then also like you travel is important too, but like also like you do a lot of training. You do jiu-jitsu and fitness and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
So I was like listening to different podcasts the other day, and they're saying like if you're a successful person or successful business owner or whatever, that the fitness comes first. Would you agree to that statement?
Do
you think?
I don't know if I agree or disagree, but I don't fully agree and I don't fully disagree. Yeah. I know plenty of successful people that are fat and out of shape. I know a whole bunch of successful people that are lean and fit and work out like monsters, right?
Yeah.
But what I will say to it is I've completed 75 Hard 5 times.
Yeah, what is that? I know you told me that,
yeah.
but what is
so 75 Hard was a program put together by Andy Frisella, and it consists of a handful of rules. Okay, so number one, you're going to take a progress picture every day. You're going to have a healthy meal plan of your choosing. Nobody's going to pick it for you, but you're not going to have any cheat meals for 75 days. You're not going to have any alcohol for 75 days. You're going to drink a gallon of water every day for 75 days. And I don't mean like, oh, we're going to put a little lemonade packet in our water. No, a gallon of water, nothing else, water.
Really?
Every day, minimum gallon of water. You are going to read 10 pages from a self-help, self-development type book, nonfiction book that can move your life forward or you can learn from every day for 75 days. You're going to do 2 45-minute workouts a day, not half-ass workouts, full workouts that have to be a minimum of 3 hours apart. And one is required to be outdoors regardless of conditions. And sometimes that gets pretty serious. A couple of years ago, we did one, and it was 12 below zero outside.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the last rule is pretty simple. You fuck up on any of the previous rules, tomorrow's day one.
Oof.
Start over. So, but what I've found is when I do things like that, my relationships improve. My time management improves, my business improves, my profitability improves, my ability to just get shit done goes up. So I think there's a correlation with fitness and improving your business. I think that if you can improve your overall health of you as a person, you will improve the overall health of the things around you, your relationships, your friendships, business, all that.
I love that. I mean, like, how long you been married?
This year will be 24 years.
24 years.
Yep.
You say you have business. How long you have your business?
So I have been self-employed for 21 years.
Okay, so as long as you be married, I guess?
Just about.
So, like, what is advice to, I guess, young guys or, like, who are people who owns a business, right, has a different time schedule rather than, like, people who have a 9 to 5. But relationship, significant others maybe have, does your wife has a 9 to 5 job or?
Not necessarily 9 to 5, but more or less, yes.
Yeah. So like, what is like, advice to like have a happy relationship, I guess, like as a business owner?
Everybody's got to be understanding of when that phone rings as a business owner, that it's got to be answered. Especially in our line of work, right? We don't know if somebody's having an emergency at their house, right? Maybe the air conditioning went out. Like just a second ago, I got a text and I sent it off. Freaking somebody's air conditioner went out. So you don't know what's going on. So you have to answer it when the call comes. And, sometimes you're in situations where you can't answer, but a quick, hey, text me, I can't talk, And then there's times where, it's not going to be able to be answered, and the business owner side of you is sitting there struggling, trying to get to your phone, and you're like, no. We're at our anniversary dinner. That phone can wait.
Yeah.
There's times where you have to just put it in the car, right?
Right.
Leave it there. But for the most part, your partner has to understand, if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, they have to understand that when that phone call comes in or whatever it is, that's potential business, which is potential revenue, which is potential profit, which writes your paycheck, which pays the bills for the house, and helps your spouse pay for the things that you have.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a pain in the ass, really. I mean, to be honest, there's plenty of times where I'm like, oh, I wish I could just shut this thing off, right? It's one thing when you're an employee, right, and you have a bad day.
Yeah.
When you get home, your day's done.
Yeah.
Unless they provided that phone and you are on call or something, you're done.
Yeah.
When you own the business, you're not done because it's 5:00.
Yeah.
You're done when you're done.
Yeah.
So, but my wife's really cool. She comes out and helps me, and so not an issue. Yeah.
So how can people find you?
Easy to find them on probably all social medias, just under Damian Heim. So it's the easiest way to find me.
The last question I have is
Sure.
What is the best advice you can give it to people who are looking for a house, or I guess buy a house, build a house, or purchasing a house? It's the same thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best advice for the first-time home buyer?
First-time home buyer. So you want to make sure that a builder isn't cutting corners on specific things. Anybody can put lipstick on a pig and make a pig pretty, but it's the things that you can't see that are important. So I have to see some of the stuff that's in process. So for me, the important things, dirt work. If the pad ain't built right, you can't undo that, right? You can't go back and fix it after the house is sitting on it. Foundation. If that ain't right, can't go back and fix that after it's done. Plumbing ground, framing, all the stuff inside the walls. Get that right. Cosmetics, those can be fixed. They're just lipstick on a pig.
But how can home buyer know?
How do they know?
A padding is right.
So, do you remember what I said earlier about a young superintendent? If it looks wrong, it probably is wrong.
Makes sense. Probably, I don't even know what's wrong with the dirt.
Right.
Probably looks wrong, huh?
If you got a mud puddle and your house is sitting in it,
yeah,
probably wrong, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then, ask questions.
Yeah.
Not just of that builder. Yeah. I tell people all the time, if they're looking at houses, whether I build your house or somebody else does, if you have a question, call me. Yeah. I'll answer it. I don't mind. So, there's plenty of other builders just like me that will take your call and, hey, man, I'm looking at a house in the neighborhood you're building in, and this is the builder. And, is there anything I should be concerned about? I don't know if this is right or wrong. Just ask. I mean, the builder that's building the house may or may not appreciate it. I don't mind. Ask any of the builders I build with. We all know each other. We're all friends. So, but you have to feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it.
Yeah.
And then the other advice I give to a first-time home buyer is don't make yourself house poor. Just because the bank says you can qualify for $500,000, make sure that number is a comfortable number, and don't let a builder take you all the way to the max number that you can afford. Be comfortable with where you're buying.
Because you can always do it later. Again.
Yep, you can upgrade later.
Yeah.
You can. Most people here in Oklahoma, that we say 5 to 7 years before they move to their next home. So, but make sure you're not house poor. Nobody likes that. Not able to go on vacation, things of that nature. So I never want any of our customers to max out what they can afford. Just be comfortable.
Perfect. Good advice. Well, I'm pretty sure if I want to build the custom home, I'll call you.
Awesome.
But thank you so much for coming in, Damian. And thank you everybody for watching. And if you're watching on the YouTube, please subscribe and then hit the like button. And then if you're listening to the podcast like a Spotify or iTunes, give me a 5-star review. That will help me help this channel. And then let us keep doing these things. And then thank you very much for everybody for coming to this show. And then I'll see you guys next Friday. Peace.